And now back to Custom Edition. But before we get to single player, let's introduce a special guest to CE3. After 5 whole years, we have finally had this honor of talking to one of Custom Edition's most important and helpful men ever. He's hosted a little website in his spare time for 10 years and moderated what's now the hub for everything CE related. If you are a big part of the Halo Custom Edition community, you probably know him more than anyone else, and he's done so much to keep it going. Please welcome, for the first time ever onto the CE3 stage, the host of the Halomaps website, Dennis.
Thank you for having me, Matt. You know, I always wondered what it would look like to be inside a video game. It's pretty cool.
So, Dennis, you are the one and only operator of Halomaps, which you also started up back in 2004. Since then, you've made your website the first place people look at as soon as you mention Halo Custom Edition.
Well, actually, it was the users that made the website popular. I'm just an old-time gamer that runs a website design and hosting company.
Well then, what gave you the idea to start Halomaps?
Well, I really fell in love with the Halo game. And then when Gearbox released Custom Edition, just the idea of having all these custom maps I thought was a really cool idea. But every time I tried to find a map, the website that I used to get it from would be down. So my nephew, who likes to play the game, he sent me an email and asked me if I would start a website to have a place for the maps. That's basically how it started.
So, then what made you decide to keep it going?
Well, the Custom Edition game was released unsupported, and I knew that if there was going to be any chance for longevity or popularity, there'd have to be a stable website for people to get the maps at. So when I started it, I committed for the long haul.
Even after 10 years, we still have thousands of players in this game, and of course you have a really unique perspective on how big the community actually is. Do you know how much the site has grown over the years, like numbers for example?
Oh, I can bore you with numbers, that's easy. For example, there's over 6,000 files in the archive. There's over 2,000 of them that are custom maps. The Halo Custom Edition game itself has been downloaded across all languages over 1.5 million times, and the editing kit over 350,000 times. Overall, people have downloaded over 29 million files from the archive, and we've consumed over 1,200 terabytes, yes, terabytes, of bandwidth.
How does it feel to be in such an important role in this community?
That's just it. I'm really not that important. I'm just an archivist. It's the people who make the maps and the tags and play the game. They're the ones that are important.
Now, this community has had its ups and downs, and sometimes more creative projects are here. Other times, it doesn't really seem like much is happening. Have you ever thought the community was going to die off in popularity?
Well, the Halo Custom Edition community was always small in comparison to the overall Halo community. But to me, it really wasn't about the popularity, but about the dedication of the people who were in it. And believe me, as long as there's people who want to get files and want to create maps, I'll keep this website running.
Now, let's talk about something a little bit more fun. Have you ever tried to make a complete custom map yourself?
Well, actually I did. Then I realized I'd have to learn how to do 3D modeling, and I didn't really have time to learn it. So I played around with the editing kit and learned about tags and the structures.
So, do you have any favorite maps projects that you've played throughout the years?
Oh, there's been a lot of maps that I loved over the years. I mean, one of the things that drew me to Halo was the outdoor environments and these big, expansive areas. I mean, that was new at the time that the game came out.
Well, do you have any specific favorites?
Well, it's so hard to choose because there's so many great maps out there. But for me, I think the ones I had the most fun on were playing Capture the Flag on Siege, Worn-Torn Cove, and New Mombasa.
You also made a pretty extensive series of machinima and comics called the Halo CE Chronicles starting in 2005. What inspired you to make them?
Well, when I started the Halo CE Chronicles, it was really just a way of showing off the maps. I mean, the first few episodes of the series were just trying to shove in as many unique custom maps in the Halo environment that I could find. But people sort of liked what I was doing, and I said, well, I sort of need a story if I'm going to continue it. And That's when it sort of grew and took on a life of its own.
Are there any other websites or anything on Halomaps you wish you could make but you just don't have the time or resource for?
I really do wish I had the time to redesign the whole site and update the look. But you never know what's coming down the road.
Well, we have to thank you a lot for coming and talking with us today.
Well, Matt, I was glad I could be here. So, do I get to shoot something now, or maybe blow something up?
Don't encourage him. Let's just move on.